You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Now your hosts, Sam Dunham, Cody Pinnick, Samantha Cross, and Josh Harrison.
You're listening to Nerd Overload, the show that covers everything pop and geek culture, from Avengers to Zaxxon. I'm Cody Pinnick.
I'm Josh Harrison.
And I'm Sam Dunham. Welcome to our inaugural episode, everybody. Before we get into the show, we won't describe this every week, but just want to talk a little bit about what we do here on the show. We're mainly a news and sometimes review show that is tied into the website nerdoverload.com, which you can go to just about every day and find all sorts of neat stuff over there. We talk about comic books, video games, movies, television, just about anything and everything that is geeky and nerdy. We love it and we talk about it. And this week, before we get into the news, I think we're going to go real quick around the room and talk about a couple of things that we've been checking out this week.
I've been playing the new Dragon Age game, Dragon Age Inquisition, and about 3 to 4 hours in, I just realized I don't like it.
Really?
Which is the worst when that happens with a video game, when you've invested that much time and then all of a sudden it dawns on you you're not having fun.
Yeah, what brought along this realization?
It's just not focused enough. Like I want to be told a story. I don't want to have to find the story. And I felt too much like I was having to find where the fun was instead of having it shown to me.
Okay.
Which makes me sound really lazy, but
well, you know, if you're paying that much for a game and you want to sit down, you only have so much time.
Yeah. As an adult, I only have so much time to play video games anymore, and it felt like it didn't respect that time I was giving it.
I've mostly just been watching TV, catching up on Flash, Arrow, Gallivant. That's really about it. Other than that, I've just been playing like old video games.
Oh, okay, the standard then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and again, I haven't had a whole lot of time. I did watch the movie The Fifth Element for about the millionth time again.
I love that
Still
film.
a great movie. Still a great movie. You know, and I had heard a while back that they were thinking about doing some sort of sequel or something, or setting something, another movie or something set in that universe.
I'm going to say no.
I don't think it needs it.
No.
I think that movie stands alone on its own. I mean, the visuals are great. The story was self-contained.
Probably Gary Oldman's like best role ever.
And he hated it.
Really?
He hated it. Yeah, he only took the role because Luc Besson shelled out a little bit of cash for him for one of his independent film projects. But that was it. But no, go check that one out. It's on Netflix. Okay, so yeah, we rattled through that here pretty quick. So let's go ahead and get into a little bit of news. What do we want to start with, guys?
I want to do movies first.
We could do movies, sure.
Well, they just recently announced the cast for the new Ghostbusters reboot.
Okay.
All-female cast.
All right. Who was cast in it?
Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones.
Okay.
Wow, I just got that right off the top of my head.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, what do you think of the cast? I mean, you know,
I think it's boring. Like, I'm sure they'll do a decent movie. Like, it'll be decent.
And it's directed by Paul Feig, and you know, he's kind of carved out a corner of, you know, filmic history by, you know, making these great, hilarious movies with primarily female-led casts, and that's great.
Yeah, I mean, Bridesmaids was hilarious. This is one of the best comedies I'd seen in a long time.
The Heat was awesome.
Again, both movies with Melissa McCarthy in them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have a problem with her in particular. Other people I'm not really too familiar with.
It's just not that interesting. I don't know. Like, give me... I read an article once that said Tig Notaro should play Venkman, and I haven't been able to get that out of my head ever since.
Oh, yeah.
I just love that idea.
Yeah.
And now nothing else will do.
Yeah, no, the cast is all right. It seems pretty standard for a Paul Feig movie. I mean, he's already made a couple movies with 2 of the 4, and the other 2 are SNL alums. I think on their own, they're all great, funny women. I don't know. I don't think they should be rebooting Ghostbusters. And let me tell you why. It's not because it's a all-female cast. I think we need more movies with, you know, primarily strong female character-led movies. I really do. And again, I have nothing against this cast. They're all really funny. But I'm just afraid that no matter how well this movie turns out, it's going to be compared to the original. And not saying that the Ghostbusters is the end all be all of comedy. It's not, but it's such a cultural touchstone. People who don't know movies know Ghostbusters
For the most part.
for the most part, and it's just no matter how well the movie does, it's going to be compared. Ultimately, it's going to be compared to the original, and I just don't know how anything would stack up.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, like, I feel like it's almost like you shouldn't touch it. Like, I feel like there are certain franchises that are so good, they don't need more. And I feel like Hollywood as a whole is just scratching for so much. Just name recognition. Oh, people know this series, so let's make another one. And it never turns out good.
Right.
I'm not saying this movie won't be good or can't be good. I'm just saying atypically, it's not. I mean, Ghostbusters shouldn't be touched. Back to the Future shouldn't be touched. I hate to even say, I don't even think Bill and Ted should be touched.
Except for by the people who
Yes,
were originally in
who
it.
are doing it.
Yeah, and it's happening.
I know it's
That
going to
is
happen,
happening.
and I'm probably going to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it's almost sacred to me. Especially, after, Hal Ramis passed away and everything. I just feel like it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I think at best we'll get an 83% Rotten Tomatoes movie that everybody will really like, but ultimately forget about in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like a super bad. Like everybody was nuts about that movie, and
And
then
then
6 months later,
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Now, do you suppose that these four characters are going to be filling, like, the characters are going to be named Venkman and Stans and Spangler
God, I hope
and
not.
Zedmore? Do you think they're going to be filling, because, three Caucasian women and a black woman.
And they did say reboot. Which
Yeah, they did say
generally-
reboot, and I mean Melissa McCarthy. She would fill the Dan Aykroyd role pretty close
yeah.
to. I
Yep.
mean, that's kind of, and I could see Kristen Wiig as kind of the Egon, kind of, I guess.
Yeah, she would be a good Egon.
Yeah.
It's making me laugh thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think the better way to have done it would just be they're different Ghostbusters that work somewhere else, and just keep it away from. Don't even put it in New York. Put it somewhere else. It's its own little thing.
Keep it in continuity. Keep
Yeah,
it in
in
continuity.
continuity.
Say that, the stuff that happened in New York happened in
Happened.
New York. They branched out like the video game. Like the video game
Yeah.
that came out with about, was it 5 years ago?
And it was a good game. I
Yeah, it was a
liked
really
the
good
story.
game. Yeah.
It was really
But
good.
It was a passable third
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
But basically, it was, they were branching out. They were starting a franchise, and you
Yeah.
were the new employee for their new franchise, right? Is that kind
Yeah,
of
that's what it was. Yeah.
essentially what it was? Yeah. If they would have done something like that in the film, and who knows, maybe they are. We don't know the script. We don't know anything about it. We
Yeah.
just,
It's just,
have a-
I get
we just
really
have a cast.
nervous when they throw the word reboot out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get really nervous about that. Yeah.
Because if it was in continuity, like if it was bad, it'd be easier to sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
Like if it was just somewhere else, it's like, well, we don't talk about that anymore.
yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, you mean,
Like with the Star Wars prequels, like they're part of the thing now.
but we
and,
don't.
like
we don't talk.
yeah,
about
we don't
that.
talk about
We
that.
don't talk about
but
that.
they're part of the arc, and
Yeah.
this wouldn't so
What
much
Star
be
Wars
part of
sequels are
the
you talking
arc.
about?
Not the new one that looks good.
Oh no, the new one looks great. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Force Unleashed.
yeah. Well,
Not Unleashed. Awakens.
Force Unleashed. That's the
That's the video
right?
game.
Yeah,
That's the video game.
Yeah.
My bad.
Well, speaking of reboots and things that are definitely not going to stand up to their previous incarnations, a trailer came out for a new Fantastic Four movie here within the last couple days, and
Fanforstic. If
Fanforstic.
the title is to be read as it appears.
yeah, it was. It came out. It sure was a trailer, a teaser trailer. I didn't like it.
No,
No.
I really didn't like it.
it made me feel nothing. Made me feel more dead inside than I already do.
Well, for one thing, it was boring.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
yeah.
Yes.
It's like they took one look at the Christopher Nolan Batman movies and said, we can make this blander.
We can do it. We have the boring technology.
But no, I mean, I'm okay with movie franchises and television and things adapting, things from the comics and making changes.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want everything. If everything were exactly the same from one version to another,
It wouldn't be interesting.
it wouldn't be interesting. What's the point of remaking it, of doing an adaptation if you don't change a couple of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just read the source material at that point.
Exactly. But along the same lines, if you don't make so many changes that it becomes unrecognizable.
Yeah, if you don't respect the source material.
Yes. That trailer, there was a rock guy and a guy on a fire, and I think at one point some kid's arm stretched out a little further than it should have.
Well, you actually don't see it stretch because it goes off panel, which is stupid.
Yeah, but it had those elements, but it did not look like the Fantastic Four.
Was the thing orange? He looked brown. Was he brown?
I think he's gray.
I think he's gray in this.
Gray,
I think
so-
he's gray brown. Yeah.
Ugh.
Any of some of the models that leaked online.
Yeah, he looks like just a standard rock
Yeah.
monster from anything that could be in anything.
And also wasn't wearing pants.
Nope, no pants.
Nope, didn't. You know what? And the costumes, and I realize I'm nitpicking at this point. But, Fantastic Four, they have a pretty iconic costume. It's the blue jumpsuit with the white gloves and boots and the four on the
Four
chest.
logo.
It looks like a straight out of the 60s, but you know what? It works for them.
Yeah.
And they've tried changing the costumes over the years, and they always go back to the original
it's a superhero.
you know what? In an age where Marvel they've embraced the goofiness of
They're
And
comics.
it
Of their
Yeah.
turns out
comics.
that's what people love.
and yet that's exactly what people want. And then Sony, who currently has the rights to Fantastic Four, so it's not a Marvel Studios thing. They put out this thing, and it looks. I mean, sure, it looks like a pretty okay looking, sci-fi action film with hard sci-fi elements and superhuman abilities, but it does not look like the Fantastic Four, and I just don't understand why. I don't get it,
Nobody but Marvel can do it right.
and that's
Nobody but Disney Marvel can make a good superhero
and
movie.
that baffles me because there are smart people in positions of power in these film studios that should be looking at Marvel and going, wow, that's really working. We need to do exactly what they're doing, and that means give the people exactly what they want, jumping off the comic book panel and into the theater. And instead, you're getting stuff like this, and you're getting stuff like Batman.
Warner Brothers trying to do the exact
doing
opposite.
the exact opposite. I mean, shoot, they mandated there's no comedy, no jokes. Everything has to be super grounded in reality, super serious in their movies, and that is not what people want.
Yeah, I'm honestly not looking forward to seeing any of those movies, really.
No,
I'll go see them. I might enjoy them. I'm not saying I'm going to hate them, but I'm not excited.
just a quick aside on that. Another thing that came out from the new new Batman, Superman, and Justice League and all that stuff. Jason Momoa, the guy who they cast to play Aquaman, he's not going to be blonde.
He would look weird as a blonde though.
Well-
yeah, he's a pretty...
He's a pretty
Well, then
dark guy.
Well,
Yeah.
then you know what? Cast someone else because
This is true.
because you know what? If you can get Robert Downey Jr., who looks like he walked off the comic panel,
This is
as
true.
Yeah.
Robert as
Tony
Stark, and you have Chris Evans, and you have everyone who practically look like they're comic book characters.
Oh yeah.
And then you have Jason Momoa, who's basically just Conan the Barbarian with green tights, and I guarantee you won't have the green tights and orange shirt. That's
Probably
not
not.
going to happen.
He would look better as Prince Namor than Aquaman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would. He would. I totally agree with that.
But also not to nitpick at all, but Fox is doing Fantastic Four, not Sony.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fox is. That's
Sony
right.
has
Fox.
Spider-Man. Fox
Yeah,
has.
I always get those mixed up. It's
Either way, it's not. Well,
Yeah, they end
I
up
like
making-
the Amazing Spider-Man films though, so
Yeah.
Sony does okay on those. But yeah, Fox really not doing too great with the whole superhero thing.
Yeah.
I
Like-
like the last X-Men movie.
I like it. It was better than a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Sure as heck was better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is like the poster child
For terrible superhero
for
movies.
taking things so far away from the comic panel that they become unrecognizable. Deadpool in that
Sewing
movie.
Deadpool's mouth shut.
Oh my god.
That was the worst thing that they could have done.
Yeah.
He looked like Baraka from Mortal Kombat
He did. He really did.
without the teeth.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Because his mouth was so... Maybe he did have the
Yeah.
teeth.
You take the merc with the mouth and you sewed his
Yeah,
mouth
you
shut.
take away the mouth.
Speaking of Disney money and everything and whatnot, Chris Pratt as Indiana Jones.
They're courting him.
Yes,
to play
they're courting
Indiana
him to
Jones.
play an Indiana Jones reboot or something.
Everybody wants to court Chris Pratt. We'll get that out of the way.
Yeah.
I saw an article earlier where it says Chris Pratt is the American Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right now, kinda. Yeah, he kinda is. But man, I like Chris Pratt. I really do, and I think he would do an okay job as Indiana Jones. But I think we're hitting. If they're not careful, we're gonna hit critical Pratt. We're gonna get to the point where we can't
Pratt it anymore.
Yeah,
They're just prattling on.
There it is. That's the one. But I think he had one great movie in Guardians of the Galaxy
And Lego movie.
He's going to be in Jurassic Park,
Which looks like it could be fun.
It looks fantastic.
Jurassic Park looks great.
I'm excited about.
I'm looking forward to that.
Park,
but
yeah.
I don't know. I think we're getting close to the point where he's in too much.
We're going to be sick of seeing it.
Too much too quick, and it's going to backfire.
Yeah. I mean, I get that.
Plus, is Parks and Rec still on?
Yeah, there's a new season just started.
Yeah, but it's the last one, so it's not going to be much longer.
But still, I mean, if he gets cast in that and they have Jurassic Park come around the same time, you're going to Pratt everywhere.
Over Pratt.
Yeah.
An overabundance of Pratts.
Some people would not care.
Well, sure. No, I mean,
no,
fine.
he seems like a genuinely cool guy, and
Yeah.
He
I
does.
wish all the luck in the world to him for being, popular and everything, which is amazing. But
Yeah,
again, like I said about some things shouldn't be touched.
Yeah.
You touch the sun, you're gonna get burned,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think we've already kind of experienced that before.
Crystal Skull.
What was that?
What? Yeah, what Crystal Skull?
No.
He went in a fridge.
He
You
did.
guys.
Yeah.
He went in a fridge and survived an atomic bomb.
That was the
Shia LaBeouf swung on vines with monkeys.
CGI monkeys.
CGI
Bad
monkeys.
CGI monkeys. There were aliens in that movie.
John
Why were
Hurt's in
there-
that movie too.
Why were there aliens in that movie?
Because George Lucas.
Well,
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Again, it's one of those things. I feel like they shouldn't touch it. Either that, or maybe we'll get a younger Indiana Jones happen before everything.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll do, and that's a good idea. Not a bad idea.
Well,
I mean,
do you remember the Young Indiana Jones TV series?
No.
I'm about to say it wasn't that good. I mean,
speaking of,
yeah, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of George Lucas, did you know Strange Magic is a musical?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
I
didn't
think I knew
advertise
that.
it
I think
way,
I remember reading that.
but it is.
didn't know that.
It's a jukebox musical, like a bunch of classic rock songs and Fairy Princess.
So it's like Romeo and Juliet. It was all.
Yeah.
That movie was all.
I
Elton
forgot.
John music.
That
Yeah.
was a good movie. too.
That
I
kinda
like
was
that
a
movie.
It kind of is enjoyable.
Yeah. But no, I had no
Yeah,
idea. I just thought it was a
apparently-
Ferngully ripoff.
Apparently, it's super
Mid-
terrible, but
Oh, okay. I'm about to say I got a little excited for it because it's Midsummer's Night's Dream.
it's got like an 11 on Rotten Tomatoes. Like it's
Ugh.
apparently
So
real bad. But
gross.
I'm just surprised how it's a musical, but they're ashamed of the fact that it is. Apparently,
I had no idea. But
Huh.
getting back to the Pratt thing, before we get off that, did you guys hear about the Super Bowl bet that he and Chris Evans made?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
them. They're betting on their prospective teams, and it's going to go to charity and stuff, and they're going to dress up like their characters.
Yeah, they're going to dress up like the loser has to dress up like their movie character from the Marvel movies and have something from the winning team and go to the winner's charity
Children's
Charity
Hospital
choice.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris versus Chris. I tell you, I enjoy Chris Evans as Captain America.
yeah.
I hated him as the Human Torch. I really did.
Yeah.
You want to get back to crappy Fantastic Fours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Oh, give me the Corman version any day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
all right. So while we're still talking about comic books, how about we talk about that Marvel reboot?
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that's happening. Yeah, well, Marvel announced at San Diego Comic-Con this year, or a little after, I think, that they're going to be doing a whole bunch of... they released images of a bunch of, their old big crossover events with, new art and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of them was called Secret Wars. Now, Secret Wars came out... This is a history lesson. Secret Wars came out in the 80s. Marvel was in a bad way with money. They were partially tied in with Hasbro, and Hasbro came to them and said, listen, you need to do an event with all of your most popular characters in one book. We've tested kids age 8 to 13, and they test well with things that have the word secret in it and things with the word war in it. So you're going to call it the Secret War. You're going to put Iron Man, Captain America, Cyclops, Professor X. You're going to put all the popular people, and they're going to fight each other. We don't care how it is. It's going to be 6 or 8 issues. Or no, it's 12. It was a 12 issue. It was a year long. We don't care what's going on in your own books. You're going to put them all in one book, and they're going to fight each other. It was essentially a giant toy ad because Hasbro wanted to sell a bunch of toys.
As they do.
As they do. The comic book was essentially 12 months of you taking all the action figures out of your toy bin and smashing them together. Seriously, that was it. But anyway, a couple months ago, they released these pictures of, the new Secret War and all this stuff, and people were wondering what the heck is going on with that. And part of it was in the images, not only did it have the main continuity, the main set of stories, there was a Marvel split off into the main universe where things have been going since the 60s, and then they have another line called the Ultimates line. This started about 15 years ago, I'd say,
give or take,
and it was basically them trying to soft reboot, modernize all of their characters.
It's like a separate universe.
Separate universe. Things happen differently all the way through. The Ultimate Universe started off great and ended up really terrible.
Yeah.
It is continually really terrible.
About the only thing that's still good that comes out of that is Ultimate Spider-Man.
Correct.
I mean, Ultimate X-Men was terrible. Ultimate Avengers was...
Yeah. That's actually where we got Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury.
Was the Ultimates.
Yeah, Nick Fury was an old white guy from World War II. In the Ultimate Universe, they drew him to look like Sam Jackson, and that's eventually how they ended up casting him in the movies. The movies are a good mix of the Ultimates.
Well, they always have been. Ever since the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, it's kind of been a mix between...
It's been a mix between the two, and that leads to this event where Marvel has decided, or Disney, we're not quite sure who, has decided that they're tired of people going from their movies and wanting to get more into the comics, going to the comics and being confused. So Secret Wars is going to be a hard reboot for the Marvel Universe. They're going to go back, dial everything back to zero, and make their comic books more like their movies. So that people who go to the movies walk into your comic shop and you get your Avengers with Hawkeye and Captain America and Iron Man and Hulk, and not people like
Falcon. Luke Cage.
Yeah, characters that Iron Fist, Brother Voodoo.
Yeah.
You don't have, so people don't get confused. What do you guys think of that?
It's kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I mean, it's Marvel, and it'll probably work. I mean, they've been slowly kind of movieizing their comics now, anyway.
Yeah.
Like they draw Thor, male Thor, anyway. He looks a lot like Chris Hemsworth now.
Yeah,
more than he used to.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you're going to basically just throw in the bin decades of history.
Right. And a part of this is they're also undoing, folding the parts of the Ultimate Universe that worked into the main continuity.
Basically, Miles Morales and Nick Fury.
Miles Morales is the current Spider-Man in the Ultimate line. He is half Hispanic, half African American.
Yes.
And people love the book. It's a really good book.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's a great character. And then the one time that Prime Universe Parker met Miles was really good too.
Right. Yeah, that was good. And actually, they created the character kind of because Donald Glover, the actor from Community, expressed serious interest in playing Spider-Man in a movie.
Which would have been awesome.
And he's actually voicing
him in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, we don't have a whole lot of information on this reboot. We don't know whether they're going to come in and say, 40, 50 years of comics that you've read and loved, put them in the burn pile because they don't matter anymore. Or if they're going to recognize and say, this is an event that happened. Everything that happened before happened, but this is the way it is now. I kind of hope it's the latter.
They'll do the latter.
Because I'll tell you what, about 4 years ago, DC did the former. They rebooted into what they call the New 52.
And continue to call new...
Yeah, the new old 52.
Yeah, 5 years later.
Yeah. And at the time, I thought it was a really bold move, and I thought, done correctly, it could work to modernize all your characters, get them all up to speed. Because beforehand, Superman, in the DC comic universe, Superman was still, his origins were back in the 40s and 50s.
Listen to your parents, eat your vegetables, yada yada yada.
Well, that's that sort of thing.
I mean, it kind of got me into comics. I wasn't buying comics before the New 52.
Yeah, and it was a good jumping on point. Unfortunately, a lot of those jumping on points were subpar stories.
Yeah.
But to put a nicely for radio.
And
Like
now
like Action Comics and Superman are not good. Batman virtually remained unchanged.
Batman stayed unchanged, and Green Lantern stayed unchanged.
now I read mostly Marvel books.
Yeah, see, and get ready for a new jumping on point with all of them because, like I said, they're all going to be rebooting. You know, I'm okay with it. You know, they got to do something because by the time the movie comes out, people are going to be confused why currently Captain America's had the super soldier serum sucked out of him. He's an 80-year-old man right now in the comics.
Yeah, the nail.
They can't have an 80-year-old Captain America in the comics when you have people coming in from the movies going, oh man, I want to read more about, you know.
Yeah, I want to see more of this guy.
Yeah.
But part of me is like, but people also have to understand that comics have been going around a lot longer than the movies. But again, I know it's all about money and pushing more
stuff. It's all
stuff.
about corporate synergy.
Yeah.
It's all about corporate synergy. Everything is a cog in the great grand machine that is Marvel and
Disney. The great mouse machine.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, I'm sure they're going to do it better than DC did with the New 52.
Well, they almost have to.
Oh yeah, I mean, Marvel/Disney does a good job of listening to their fan base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, especially here lately with Star Wars and everything that's been folding into it.
Yes.
So it should be good, but part of me is like, there are stuff going on in the comics now that I genuinely enjoy, like Falcon being Captain America, the new female person holding the hammer who still has not been named, but I feel, and now granted, I always thought this was going to be temporary anyway, but I still like it and I don't want it to end so quickly.
Yeah, I agree. But who knows, maybe it won't, this event isn't going to happen for another 6 months to almost a year, I think. No, about 6 months, because it's going to happen it ends about the same time the movie comes out.
Age of Ultron is May.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, well, maybe when are they?
I thought they were doing the reboot like sometime in like April.
It does stink of corporate.
I mean, it really does.
Meddling.
That's been going on a lot though, with like the death of Wolverine and the death of Deadpool coming up. Those are both characters that Disney Marvel do not have film rights for right now.
Right.
So hence, we would take these super popular characters. Let's kill them.
Yeah. Well, it is coming up soon because they're doing a zero issue for Free Comic Book Day, which is the first Saturday in May.
Yeah.
Which is the same weekend. What was it? 3 years ago when they released Avengers.
Yeah.
And that's probably the weekend that they're going to release, or the weekend before they release Avengers 2. So it is coming up, and I think this is going to be a 6-issue miniseries, I believe. So that's 6 months. 6 months from May, by the end of 2015, everything's going to be switched around.
Yeah.
Even though they just made all these announcements that switch things around right before, in the summer.
Pretty much.
Like Captain America and Thor.
Yeah.
And
all this
Miss
really
Marvel.
cool stuff, honestly.
Yeah, Miss Marvel.
Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, you guys want to go ahead and take a quick break here, and we'll come back after a little bit of music?
Yep, sounds good.
All right.
Hey, this is Doug Jones, and you are listening to Nerd Overload, and I'm kind of overloaded with nerddom.
Welcome back to the show. Again, you're listening to Nerd Overload. The song you just listened to was Back to the Shack by Weezer off their newest album, Everything Will Be All Right in the End. This album came out here about a month ago, you'd say?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I've always been a fan of Weezer ever since, high school. I've been way into them.
Yeah.
And
ever since Blue Album.
Pretty much, since their first album. And, this album is pretty good. I've really kind of dug it. Whenever a Weezer album comes out, people who know music, people who are into music, always say, it's good, but it's no Blue Album. It's good, but it's no Pinkerton,
Yeah.
And the thing is, we're never going to get that again. It's never going to come back.
Yeah, the very specific things that occurred that made those albums happen will never happen. It's like planets aligning.
Yeah. Having said that, this is probably the closest thing musically that we're going to get to it. It's, very much just power chords and simple lyrics, very just back to basics kind of alternative rock kind of thing. But you know what? It's good. It's way better than the last couple albums they put out, that's for sure. Which is kind of the one thing that I have to complain about on this album. There are a couple tracks, this song that we just played included, that is basically the lead singer Rivers Cuomo apologizing for
Ratitude.
for the last couple albums, Ratitude and Hurley. And I'm getting kind of tired because they've been apologizing for those albums for a while.
I didn't think Hurley was that bad.
Hurley wasn't that bad, but it still wasn't.
Yeah.
It still wasn't great. But yeah, that's kind of the one complaint I've had with it. But for the most part, really good album. Yeah. Anyway, back to the show, and
I guess we're gonna talk about video games now.
yeah, let's talk about some video games.
Today I had the chance to have a little hands-on time with the new 3DS.
Got all handsy with the 3DS.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got my dirty mitts all up on. Which it's the new version of the 3DS that's coming out February 13th. It has some new features, which I got to try most of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's got that new C stick, which felt weird
Really?
because it's basically like an old IBM nub on a laptop.
Oh, that's
that
weird.
you would use. It has no tactile feedback when you use it, which
that's
is weird for a video game
Yeah.
control mechanism.
Yeah.
Like, you want to know that you've pushed it all the way to one direction or not.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. I used it in Smash Brothers, and Pac-Man punching by hitting that did not feel good.
Okay.
But maybe for something like a camera and Monster Hunter, it'll be fine for that, probably.
Okay.
The other features is the face tracking camera to keep you from falling out of the 3D blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
With the original version of the device, if you moved out of that 3D sweet spot, it'd get all blurry.
Oh, yeah.
This
yeah.
didn't do it at all.
Cool.
I turned it all the way to one side. Perfect. You couldn't even tell the 3D was on. Well, I don't want to say on. I don't know. I can't see 3D very well, honestly, but it didn't get blurry is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
The screens look really nice, really clean. Everything about it was good. It's definitely an improvement. Like, if you use your 3DS a lot, if you get a lot of use out of it, you'll appreciate the things they've added, and you'll probably want to upgrade.
Okay, cool. And you said the processor was pretty good as well?
Oh, yeah, it was a lot faster. Smash Brothers was up just super quick, and if you've played it on a regular DS, it takes forever.
It takes like a minute of load time almost
Yeah.
for the thing to open up. Yeah. Well, good. That's cool. They said it comes at the middle of February?
Yep, February 13th.
Oh, right
along
on.
with those two special editions that look really sweet. The Majora's Mask one and the Monster Hunter.
That I probably won't be able to get my hands on.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I don't think a lot of people will be able to get their hands on those. Yeah. Do we have any more game stuff there on the list?
I saw a Kickstarter for a game called Strafe, which is calling back to the old first-person shooters of 1996, stuff like Quake or
Doom.
Back in that time where everything was really loud and really obnoxious, and everything had to be the best technically, and everything had to be throwing blood in your face.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. We sat here and watched the Kickstarter backer video.
It's hilarious.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
Like,
pretty gory.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's not. Don't have your kid watch it, but it's hilarious. I would recommend checking that out.
He was just a child.
It looks like a sweet game too. Procedurally generated levels, so they're different every time, and run and gun Doom style gameplay that you don't see much anymore.
Cool. And they're about a third of the way funded, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
So if this sounds like something you would like, definitely check it out and throw some cash their way so the game gets made.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looks like it was straight out of the mid '90s, like.
So I just kind of like those
games.
kind of throwbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always see retro pixel art, but you never see retro 3D where things are blocky, and I like that look. It appeals to me.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's because we grew up during that.
Oh
age,
God,
Yeah.
yeah,
you
we
know?
experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Quake 2 is what it looks like the most, and that game is
I really
great.
liked Quake
Yeah.
2.
Quake 2 is fantastic.
No, like when we were watching that video and like the music and stuff was playing, almost reminded me of when Far Cry 3 brought out that blood dragon.
Oh,
standalone.
That was a good game.
That was
hilarious.
fun. It was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, check that out. That's cool.
But I kind of want to get back into the comic news and
Yeah, let's get
talk
back
about
into it. Sure.
with David Tennant making a comic book.
No, yeah, that's kind
Well,
of comic book and TV.
TV,
So yeah,
so
let's
yeah.
swing back around to it. Sure. Go. Yeah.
But David Tennant's gonna come by and he's gonna play a villain in a Marvel
Okay,
series.
so for people who don't know who David Tennant is,
David Tennant famously as far as the nerd world goes,
He's the best Doctor Who.
Barty
Yep.
Crouch.
Well, yes, he was also Barty Crouch Jr. in the Harry Potter films, and he was also the Doctor in Doctor Who for the 10th regeneration,
Which is the best one.
For a lot of fans, he is.
No, there's no question about it. He's the best one.
If you've seen the guy with the puppy dog eyes and the trench coat, you've seen David Tennant. But also, he was in Broadchurch and
Fright Night remake.
Yeah, he wasn't. That's
yeah.
right. I guess that would be where a lot of people would know him from.
Yeah,
actually.
possibly the Fright Night remake. He was in Broadchurch. They also did an American series of a remake of Broadchurch called Grace Point, which aired a little bit.
I've heard not good things about.
It was okay. Broadchurch was definitely a lot better. He also had a period show called Spies of Warsaw. I didn't get a chance to really watch that, but it looked really good. Okay. But he's going to play a villain. Well, in the comics, he's called the Purple Man, but his name was
Zebediah Kilgrave, which I think is a much better villain name
Than
the
the
Purple
Purple
Man.
Yeah.
The Grimace?
Yeah. Now the question is, does he have 2 arms or 4?
4.
4-arm Grimace is a nightmare. Let me tell you.
It's like a purple Goro.
Now, we said what he's actually going to be doing this for.
No,
Is he
not
just
yet.
going to start walking around with purple paint on his face?
No.
Wandering down the street.
Live action role play.
I'm the Purple Man. I'm the Purple Man.
Yeah.
But no, the Marvel Netflix series, a.k.a. Jessica Jones, which
Right.
you know a lot more about than I do.
I do know a little bit about that, yeah. Netflix is doing kind of like NBC has, or is it ABC? NBC or ABC has Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
ABC.
ABC. Oh, of
'Cause
course,
Disney.
because Disney. Yeah, Disney.
Because Disney.
Because Disney. But Netflix picked up the rights for 4 13-episode miniseries based on lesser-known Marvel characters that are part of the broad universe, but kind of all take place in one section of New York. That's really about it. And one of them is you have your Daredevil.
Hell's Kitchen.
That's the section. Thank you. Daredevil, Luke Cage. Was Iron Fist one of the 4? I think it was Iron Fist.
I'm not sure.
And then you have the 4th one, which is a show called AKA Jessica Jones, based off of a comic called Alias, or Alias Jessica Jones. Probably can't call it Alias because of that show
From back in the day.
Yeah.
From back in the day.
That was a really popular show back in the day.
It was J.J. Abrams, one of his first things.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, in the comics, Jessica Jones was a private investigator. She used to be a superhero in like the 80s. They retconned her, and she was a creation of the 2000s, but they kind of went back and said, oh, yeah, she was around in the 80s, just no one wrote about her. But the main villain of that series was the Purple Man, who, other than having bright purple skin, which I hear Tennant's not going to have on the show.
No. That'd be a travesty.
That'd be pretty weird. He had extreme mind control abilities, and Alias, the comic, was put out from Marvel in a side imprint called Marvel Max, where they could kind of get away with doing a little more
kind of like
risque
DC's Vertigo.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like DC's Vertigo, where they can get away with a little more. They didn't have the Comics Code Authority at the time. They could do a little more. They could have cursing. They could have all this other
Sex
stuff.
and violence.
Sex and violence, essentially, yeah. And, yeah, Purple Man's a bad dude. He is directly the reason why the character Jessica Jones got out of superheroing, because she was basically kept as a mind-controlled slave for like 6 months by the Purple Man. And if they get into any of that on her 13-episode miniseries on Netflix, the show's going to get dark.
Yeah, that's some dark stuff.
It's going to get dark real quick. So that casting really, I'll be honest, I wasn't super interested of the 4 series. I wasn't super interested in the Jessica Jones one, but I'm in now. Because I gotta see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Plus, it'll be on Netflix, and you can watch it anytime you want.
Yeah, there's no reason
right.
not to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm stoked about that Daredevil.
I know,
show.
right?
It's
That
gonna be
looks
cool.
really good. Have you seen any pictures from that? Yeah, they're doing like the. He's not wearing the Daredevil costume. He's wearing like an all-black ninja suit with like a ninja band over his eyes, which was from like it was essentially Daredevil Year 1.
Yeah, it
of
was
thing.
like his like his original
his training suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost kind of reminded me of the Dread Pirate Roberts a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, a little
That
bit.
is basically what he wears.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of excited to see Vincent D'Onofrio be the Kingpin.
Oh man, yeah. I've seen pictures of him bald. big D'Onofrio bald.
Oh,
Perfect.
it'll
It's
be
perfect.
good. It'll be good. And Marvel knows what they're doing. And even though it's not going to be on TV, they understand that Netflix is a big
It's
medium.
basically TV now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's its own network.
Yeah.
Especially when House of Cards and stuff was getting like nominated for like awards and whatnot.
No kidding.
That was
Orange
mind blowing.
And Orange is the New Black is fantastic too.
Yeah.
It's the Marvel machine keeps churning, and I'm pretty sure it's going to keep churning out gold.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if it's anywhere near Peggy Carter, then it'll be fantastic.
I like Peggy Carter, I really do, and
Yeah.
the second season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been great.
So far, so good. Yeah.
I mean, the first season started off a little rocky, toward the end got really good, and the second season's pretty much been boom, 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 boom.
well, with the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the more I've thought about it, the more I've thought I think they wanted to get to the post Captain America 2 plot line sooner, and they were in a holding pattern for about 6 weeks.
Until the movie.
So
Until
they were
the-
just kind of spinning their wheels, and that's where all the bad episodes came from, and that's when everyone dropped off.
Yeah, and I'm really glad I stuck with it,
Yeah.
because it really paid off in the end.
Me too.
Yeah, I didn't, and now I'm sad.
Well, it's the first season's on Netflix. You
Yeah.
can catch up.
Yeah.
But yeah, beyond TV, so we're talking about kind of nerdy things. The Gallivant did their season finale.
Yeah, now you guys watch this. I didn't, so you guys can talk about it.
I liked the show.
Yeah,
It
it's a
was
great
goofy.
show.
It was goofy and weird, and some of the songs were good. I mean, it was a musical kind of weird kind of thing.
Yeah, weird Mel
Spam-a-lot
Brooksy,
kind of
Spam-a-lot
thing.
comedy musical show.
Yeah. And they make a lot of kind of meta jokes at the expense, like the one where they start singing about John Stamos was in the one episode.
As Jean Ham.
Yeah. Joust Friends was the name of the episode.
Yeah.
And he makes like a your mama joke, and Gallivant says something. It's like, Sir Ham, it's 1296. Your mama jokes are sold, or something like that. I mean, I like the show. I generally enjoy it. I felt the season finale was kind of like they were building to something more, and I thought maybe it was just going to be done, and
Yeah,
going to be
a
done.
contained story.
Yeah.
No.
We're getting a possibly a second season. With the way they left it off this big cliffhanger.
They really want a second season, apparently. Yeah, because there was no closure whatsoever.
No, if anything, they made it worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if you guys want me to spoil or anything. If anyone's been watching or not
Well,
watching.
let's give a warning. We're about ready to start talking about something that some people may not have seen. So,
Spoiler warning.
if you
Spoiler
If you
warning.
don't want it ruined for you, come back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, you have King Richard's brother showing up.
Kingsley.
Kingsley.
His name is Kingsley.
We named you Kingsley. It's your destiny. As they said in the one episode. He's a jerk, and he's trying to take away King Richard's throne. And Richard he's not a good guy, but he's also an idiot.
Yeah, he's a misguided dummy.
Yeah, he's a misguided dummy. He's the king. He thinks he can do whatever he wants because he has the power, and he has no backbone or anything to really pull it off. And then you got his best friend / bodyguard, captain of the guard, whatever. Gareth.
Who's
Benny
secretly
Jones.
Yeah.
who's secretly in love with him.
I think so, because he's very much too macho, and I'm not a hugger. You touch me, I'm going to kill you. But he never does.
Well, and when Kingsley asks him what kind of woman he prefers, he's like, either extremely skinny or extremely fat, no in between.
But then everything's boiling down. Gallivant was going to fight a duel on behalf of King Richard against Gareth, who was the champion of Kingsley.
Yeah, just to...
For the kingdom.
Yeah, for the kingdom. But at the last second, Gareth frees everybody. He sends Gallivant and King Richard
with the
off,
pirates.
Yeah, with the pirates from earlier in the season.
He sends them off, yeah. And then everyone else, except for Sidney the Gallivant squire,
gets sent to another kingdom.
Isabella's cousin / betrothed, which is a very kind of Ottoman Empire-esque kind of Arabic, kind of weird.
And he's 10.
Yeah, he's like 10 years old. And he locks her in this little Barbie house room where she's going to stay forever.
Until Gallivant.
Comes back. I mean,
That's where it ends.
It's where it ends. It's
Oh, man,
boom.
yeah, that's-
it is
It
right
ends on
there.
them pulling out on this little room that she's trapped in.
Yeah, that's definitely a cliffhanger for a second season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really just kind of broke my heart. Like I would have been fine with just the one season. Just throw it out there. You did it. Cool. Awesome.
I mean, I'd be super stoked for a season 2.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
I'd
yeah,
watch it.
I would have liked at least a little bit of closure.
Yeah. Instead
yeah.
of just opening up more for more questions.
Yeah.
Though I did kind of laugh that the narrator who's been singing the beginning of every episode turns out to be the jester.
Yeah. And he makes that comment about, and will all the singing hurt our Nielsen rating?
Yeah.
I love the self-referential stuff.
Oh no, it's good.
All the
It's
meta
really
stuff,
The meta
good.
stuff, yeah, I love it.
Oh, and the fact that Anthony Stewart Head shows up as Gallivan's dad. I love Anthony Stewart Head. For people who don't know, he was Giles on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, okay, that guy.
Yeah, I forgot you didn't watch Buffy.
I didn't watch Buffy. I don't know.
I mean, it's a great show. Watch it so it gets to season 2.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, go back, you know.
It is on Hulu.
Yeah, pull
Yeah.
it up. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's goofy. It's nothing serious at all. If you like Robin Hood Men in Tights and you like Monty Python, you're probably going to like Gallivant.
It's not as clever as those things that
No,
you mentioned.
no,
but
no.
it's still fun enough and just clever enough to be worth watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
That's about all I got on TV.
yeah. I think we pretty well
tap
ran the game
tap
on
that
so,
tap that well.
Yeah, we got a little bit of tech news left before we get out of here. Cody, do you know anything about
Yeah.
this?
Microsoft did a big press conference about Windows 10,
Right.
which is their next operating system after 8.
Why are we not getting 9?
Because 7, 8, 9.
Ah, but
setting you up for that one.
Yeah. The most obvious setup I've ever seen.
set them up, knock them down.
But other than Windows 10, they also announced these goggles called the HoloLens that you wear on your head, and instead of being like a insular virtual reality thing like the Oculus Rift, it changes the world around you by projecting holograms on stuff in reality.
So kind of like augmented reality stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to.
It was not
I
an
think
impressive press
I
conference.
think that technology sounds neat,
Yeah.
but the goggles look doofy. Doofy as all get out. and
90% of all goggle-based technology looks stupid.
That's very true. And I don't know. It just we sat here and watched the video last time we were all together, and for one thing, the video seemed really fake. It
Yeah.
seemed like
It felt like lies.
Yeah, it felt like, well, if you find it on YouTube, I don't have the address pulled up here, but if you look at it, it almost looks like things were being selected before the woman who was testing it was bringing her finger over it, like it was all pre-rendered
Yeah.
test stuff, like it didn't actually work. And
Which
you
is
know
about
that-
par for a Microsoft press conference.
It looks like to me the Kinect all over again. If you
Yeah.
remember that, the motion control thing for the Xbox was supposed to revolutionize everything, but it doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of that all over again, and I feel like that's what it's going to be. I'm more interested in an Oculus Rift than I'm more interested in that insular solo experience
Yeah.
than the.
Is there any new thing about the Oculus Rift that's been lately?
Not really.
Not
I mean,
really.
they're still working on it. Facebook owns it now.
Yeah.
But I tell you, all the videos I've seen of people using it, it looks fun. It looks amazing.
Oh yeah, I'm super stoked to get my hands on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or your eyes.
Or eyes. Yeah, my eyeballs on that. I mean, they with the HoloLens thing, they showed a little bit of Minecraft with it, but there's nothing concrete about it at all.
No.
And not because they're fake holograms, because it it just doesn't look like anything exists. It looks like they're pie in the sky in it.
Yeah, and I mean, what would be the practical applications for these things? Is it just some goofy doohickey like the Google Glass? Like, Google Glass is neat, but in my day-to-day life, what am I going to do with it?
Yeah, nobody wants to watch you just living
Walk
your
down the
life.
street.
Yeah, walking down the street.
Yeah.
Like,
And just because I'm looking at the Windows 10 goggles, HoloLens, whatever they're calling it, and I'm seeing the greatest 3D thing since sliced bread, to everyone else, I'm just swiping at air, looking like a
like Johnny Mnemonic.
yeah, pretty much like Johnny Mnemonic. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like the idea of holograms. I like the idea of the wearable tech for your eyes. So the hands-free stuff.
Yeah.
But I just don't. I don't think we're there yet.
No.
You know.
Like one of the examples they have is like now your living room can be a video game that you're running a character around in. And it's like, well, that's a neat idea, but if you think about it for 2 seconds, it's not going to be fun.
No.
Because part of the video game is these elaborate worlds that people are designing for you to be in.
Right, and just because you can see everything, the game isn't going to track like where objects are. So they're just going to be holograms just running through, or maybe even like over top of like just stuff. I mean, I don't know. It just seems kind of weak.
Remember the AR cards for the Nintendo DS?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And how cool that was going to be? Yeah, they never did anything with that.
Yeah,
Nope.
Right. Yeah. I just think as long as if they keep developing it, great. But I just don't think it's there yet. I don't think it's to the point where.
Honestly,
it's gonna
I
catch
don't
on.
think it'll ever be there. At least not in our lifetimes.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of a world where, I tell you, my living room is a boring place. I don't even have a coffee table. So it's like, what's the point of me staring at my living room watching this little Minecraft Steve walk around my living
Carry
room?
blocks across your carpet. Like,
Yeah, it's stupid.
I think one of the examples they had was somebody fixing plumbing, and they had a YouTube video projecting showing them how to fix their plumbing.
Or you know what else you can do? You can take your phone, you can put
Yeah.
it right there with YouTube, with the YouTube app pulled up right there, and watch it.
Yeah, and then you don't get sewage sprayed on your expensive holo goggles.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I get the idea, and you're spot on for trying to build new technologies. I mean, yes, forward progress is forward progress, but I feel like it's pointless.
Yeah, it's a
Forward
cool idea
progress.
that ultimately means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like something is like, you know what? People are really talking about this Oculus Rift an awful lot. Let's make our own goggles, but not be very good. That's basically where I feel about it. It's I'll never get it. It's stupid. I don't think the average person is never going to get it. Like the Google Glass.
Isn't going to want to wear something huge and bulky on their face for a whole lot of time. Remember the Virtual Boy?
Hey, I like the virtual.
Well, I mean, I do too, but we're game people, We're into
Yeah.
this stuff. The whole reason why the system didn't take off, it was supposed to be the replacement for the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And it never took off because no one wanted to sit with big, bulky goggles on their face all day. And it's
Also,
the
it
exact
was
same
red, and it gave me
It was all
headaches.
one color. Yeah, it gave you headaches. Yeah. But hey, Wario Land 3D was
Yeah,
great.
that's a sweet game.
That is
was
a
a great
good game.
Yeah.
It's like the only good game on the virtual
Tennis
Boy,
was
but-
all right.
Yeah, tennis was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like it's just Microsoft grasping at straws on this one.
Yeah, trying to come up with something.
I mean,
to
I
wow
hated
people.
Windows 8. What makes you think I'm going to like pretty much anything else you do?
Now, do you know anything about the Windows 10 that's coming out?
It's
That came
free.
out? Oh,
That's
it's
the
free.
best part.
What?
Yeah, if you have Windows 7 to 8.1, you can upgrade to 10 for free, and it has a start bar. So
Oh,
do
good.
it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because that's the one reason why I don't do 8 is because I hate the layout.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
yeah.
stupid like app interface.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm stuck with it on my laptop, and I hate it. I can't wait to upgrade to 10. Also, it has their version of Siri that Cortana built in, so you can use that if you like talking to your computer, which I don't.
Yeah.
I've never been into any voice recognition
No,
stuff.
I never have been either.
I feel like an idiot when I talk to inanimate objects.
Yeah. Well, Siri can't understand me. I talk too quick. She never catches it.
I think that's pretty much all I've really got news on my
I
end.
don't want to ask Siri to Google something. I'm a big boy. I can do it myself.
All right. Well, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Again, you've been listening to Nerd Overload. You can find us just about every day over at nerdoverload.com. Be sure to check that out if you get a chance. We do have a Facebook page. It's you just go to the nerdoverload.com and
And it
there's
pops up right
links
away.
right there.
Or Facebook search Nerd Overload.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like 3 of them, but there's only one that's been active
Oh,
recently. So we're also on Twitter. If you're into that sort of thing, we're at nerd_overload. And I'm on Twitter. My personal account is at Robot Caveman.
And you can check out my tweets at NOD Cody P.
And I am at Bearded Midgetor. If I post anything, it's mostly something about pizza or a retweet from Will Wheaton.
Two very, very worthy things to tweet about, I'll tell you.
If you came in partway through the show, you can listen to it from the website. If you missed the beginning, go to the website.
That's
it's
right.
on the podcast.
Exactly.
Pick it up.
That's true. That's very true.
And we also have uploaded iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do upload it on iTunes. So do an iTunes search for the Nerd Overload.
Yeah, and if you like this, guess what? There's like 30 more episodes you can listen to.
That's right. That's absolutely right. All right. So yeah, I think that's about wraps it up for us. So for Nerd Overload, I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Cody.
We'll see you next week.